chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Dangerous times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world that keep the sky on your mind.
chemicals that take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, every shot from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. So loud as the hours pass, we're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, never shut from the top. We're gonna be. It was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regret. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, never shut from the top.
Welcome to Revive Hi-Fi Canada, and today we're having a speaker double feature, but really it's a single speaker feature. It's the KEF K120 speakers, and we have the KEF Q150 here as well on the right side, and that's included as kind of an illustration of the progression or evolution of the entry level of KEF over the last several decades. The KEF K120 speaker on the left is what we'll be talking about more on this speaker feature, and I'll move over the camera and give you a closer view. So the KEF K120, I have a long story about this, so I'll shorten it. The KEF K120 was a speaker that I had way back about maybe 7 years ago when I was just restarting my adventure on hi-fi here, and I got a pair and I played them, and I was less than impressed, and mostly because I didn't like the level of detail that I was hearing. I just thought it wasn't quite as great on the highs as it could have been, and so I moved them on. And recently, what happened after that was I actually got it forced me to go in. I went into a store and I was looking for a new pair of speakers and ended up buying the Klipsch R51M, and those are fine speakers, but after a while I realized that they weren't quite as balanced as I'd like in terms of the bass and the treble, so I moved on. And then I should have gone and auditioned the KEF Q150 before I did the R51M, but because the K120 were not to my taste, I didn't really go for the KEF Q150. But this video kind of illustrates how the entry level has changed. for KEF a little bit, at least from the time where I'm showing here with the KEF K120 to the KEF Q150. So the KEF K120 is a nice speaker. It's well made. It has, I like the front baffle. I like on the left side the K on the speaker. It looks cool, the KEF symbol. It has a soft dome tweeter, which many KEF speakers did from that time frame. It also has a nice paper cone woofer. The woofer is about 6.5 inches, so it's a pretty sizable woofer. And the tweeter is about 1 inch. So the speaker is about 13 inches tall. And in other videos, I've talked a little bit about how when you have a rear ported speaker, you can have a shorter, smaller speaker. You can have a shorter speaker at least. It's not as tall. This KEF is over 13 inches tall. It's about 13 and a half, 13.3, somewhere around there. And that's because this KEF has a sealed box design. And the box is extremely sturdy and well made. The crossover looks really well made as well. So it's quite a nice put together speaker. The quality you expect from KEF. These speakers didn't quite have the mid-range clarity that I was looking for when I first had them, and I had a chance to pick them up again. Somebody gave me a pair, but unfortunately the one of the speakers, the voice coil, just refuses not to rub on the the voice coil refuses not to rub on the spider. It's connected to the spider, but it just rubs on the cone non-stop, and I cannot get them to align no matter what I do. And I think at one point probably one of them was overdriven, so I just wanted to do a video here on the single KEF K120 and compare it to the single KEF Q150, and to show just how different these two speakers are. You can call it an evolution or whatever you like, but it's just quite a difference. The KEF Q150 has been featured on this station before, and I will do a keeper series on it as well. It's one of my favorite speakers, especially for the price. And going back to the KEF K120, I really enjoyed listening to it. It has a very smooth sound, right? So it's not going to fatigue you. It's going, you can listen to for long periods of time, but it's not exactly going to excite you either. It's a kind of a laid back, very conservative type of sound that may or may not be what everybody likes. It wasn't really for me. But you know, it's good. It has quite a bit of depth, similar to the KEF Q150. It has a low frequency response rating, plus or minus 3 dB down to 65 hertz, and it has, I think, an impedance of around 6 or 8 ohms. It has a sensitivity of 87, which is similar to the KEF Q150. Yeah, it's bigger. And yet the bass doesn't go quite as low on the rating as it does on the KEF Q150, only down to 65 hertz. And it's well made, I do have to say. It's nice, but it just, for me, did not have the clarity of the KEF Q150. Like, the highs are smooth and they're nice on the KEF K120. They don't tend to play, they don't go shrill, which is fantastic, but they also kind of play that fine line of not being shrill but losing detail. They kind of play that fine line maybe towards the side of losing a little detail at the expense of not being shrill. And the bass is not quite what I had expected for a speaker of its size. So to give you an idea of some other sealed boxes, we had the NHT SB1 on this channel, which was a sealed box, and we had the Boston A140, which we didn't have on this channel, but I've had it 2 different times. The Boston Acoustics A140 is awesome. I love that speaker. It has very accurate bass because it has a sealed box, and so did the NHT SB1. Very accurate and very clean sound, whereas I don't find the sound of the KEF K120 to be clean, especially when the music gets more complicated. So on simple music, you know, it tends, you know, horns and pianos, and it tends to play quite well. But that glorious mid-range that I'm used to with speakers, especially those that are come from the UK or UK companies, I don't find that it's there, and it's not quite as good and clear as I would hope compared to many of the other speakers that I've played. So they're not quite there with the other speakers, and the KEF Q150 is a very different beast altogether. And I'm just going to move the view to have both of them now in the view. The KEF Q150 is really quite a different speaker. It has a rear port, so you tend to get a lower bass extension down to about 50 hertz, and you get the nice Uni-Q driver that has the tweeter inside the woofer, and it just provides a very cohesive sound. When considering the KEF K120, the imaging is still pretty good. It's pretty good, but the KEF K120 is, or sorry, the Q150 is at a whole nother level, and I'm not sure why my camera's doing that, but let's take a look at what's going on here. So the KEF K120, boy, life's always exciting here on Revive Hi-Fi Canada, isn't it? So the KEF K120 will give you the nice even sound. Nothing really sticks out in particular. So what is going on there? So nothing really sticks out in particular with the speaker. And what you end up getting is not a huge sounding speaker. It's not bad. So the sound stage is pretty good. It's very big. It expands wide, but the dispersion is not all that great, even though it has a dome tweeter, and I found so many of the dome tweeters give you pretty good dispersion of sound. The KEF K120 in this case, I think they could have done maybe a little better on the tweeter. But yeah, it's quite different. The KEF Q150, on the other hand, has an aluminum tweeter, not a dome tweeter. It's embedded in the woofer. It's got a rear port. It also has pretty good construction, except I'm not a huge fan of the vinyl covering, but it's all right. It has magnetic grills, but you have to buy them separately, which I did. I just love the KEF Q150. The KEF K120 is kind of what I first had, and I was all excited to try a KEF speaker, but it didn't really live up to what I was hoping or what I was expecting. Yet the KEF Q150, it kind of goes beyond what I was expecting and what I was hoping for when I bought it. So I was very happy. I continue to be very happy with the KEF Q150. I'm going to play some sound samples with the KEF K120 and the KEF Q150. I'm going to use the balance knob. So we're going to use the NADC 740 receiver. And I love this receiver. It's not the highest powered receiver, yet it punches way above its weight in my opinion. And I'll use the balance knob to go between the two different speakers and label the sounds as I go back and forth. This, of course, this is not a sound treated room, not a sonically treated room or anything like that, but it's just to give you an idea of how they might sound in a real life situation, and just to give it's kind of fun to compare these two. They're about 30 years, a good 30 some odd years, maybe more apart. I think I think there's been a lot of changes in the design, and I love them both, but I have to say that the K120 was not quite up to my expectations. It remains that way. I thought when I brought it back, I had listened to so many speakers since then that my opinion might change, but it hasn't really changed. When the music gets very busy, it's not quite as adept at handling and picking up all of the details compared to some of the newer speakers, which is, things have to improve, of course, right? So thank you very much for listening, and I hope that you enjoy this channel and some of the discussions that we have about different speakers and amps, and we'll be continuing this, of course, and I hope that you get some helpful information here, and our goal here is just to promote this great hobby of audio that we love so much and get more people into this. This is fantastic. So thank you very much for listening. If you like us, please subscribe, and see you next time on Revive Hi-Fi Canada. Thank you.